All right. Well, we are, or I am, live, and I want to welcome you and want to let you know that Debbie is feeling a little under the weather tonight, and Brian is at a baseball game with his kids. So for right now, it's going to be me, and actually, there's a lot of good things going on, and there's a lot of things going on. So what I wanted to do was just really touch bases with just a few things that I know and a few things that I've heard, and certainly there's some changes going on, and the first thing is the best thing that happened today, or certainly as far as Empower is concerned, is that they've now got their 12th millionaire. So what's happened is that they've created 12 millionaires, people who have earned over $1 million in earnings in just slightly over 2.5 years, and that's really something that's totally unprecedented in in this arena. When you've got a work from home opportunity, what happens most of the time is you've got a couple people that maybe hit that $100,000 place, and for the most part, they're the rock stars. They're the people that are really standing out from everybody else in this business, and what we have here in Empower is if you're at 100,000, you're really pretty much just, another affiliate. You're someone who's, really not necessarily standing out from the crowd. And that's really a good thing because, when you've got a business that is creating, real life-changing, freedom type wealth, what you have is something that, people can really dedicate themselves to. The way that our compensation plan works, the way that you can really start putting yourself in profit very, very quickly. It's something that really has never existed before. And when Dave and Dave put together this business, and now it's just Dave, but when they put this together, they really had a vision. And the vision was to really create a life-changing experience for people that got into this business and took the time to really go out and do what they were taught and find ways to, create results. So, now they've gotten to the point where they've got 12 people that are millionaires. Dave talks all the time about wanting to have a new millionaire every month. And, that's really what they're going to try to create here. And, by doing that, it's going to do something to really shake up the industry because, it's never been done before. You've never had a business where, they paid out the amounts of money that they do here. And, that's really the reason that you're seeing, the kind of results with, people getting life-changing incomes just from, doing what they're told and, really working the business in a way that creates results. The other thing, I'm sure, any of you who have been online saw the letter from Jay Cron, or Jonathan Cronstedt, and there are things going on. There's changes. What's happened is Vic, the number one earner. He's had some issues in the past. Going back, and I'm certainly not an expert on what his situation is, but going back into his past, he had some in a whole different industry. He was in the insurance industry, and he had some run-in with the law, and he was not doing things properly, and he readily admitted that he had done things that really were outside of what should have been done, and the ways that that things are looked at, and he got himself in some trouble. And one of the other things that's going on is that he is living in the state of South Dakota, and apparently there are some rules there that if you're going to get someone into a business, you have to give them some type of an offer sheet. They have to have 3 days to think about it, and then you can take them forward. And apparently, not knowing all the technicalities, there were some issues that came up, and unfortunately, Vic got caught in the middle of it. Now that doesn't take away from what Vic brings to the table, what his training is, what he's really shared with us. And the training that I've seen in the internet traffic formula is something that I've never seen before. It's something that's really the highest quality training that's for marketing that's ever been taught. And I've worked online for years. I've done home businesses now going on 6 years, and I've never seen the kind of training that I'm seeing here with what Vic has shared with us. And he's got 2/3 of the product is already in the can and been presented to us. I'm going through the training myself. I'm learning things. One of my challenges in the past was finding a way to really track what I was doing. I was always kind of working in the dark. For those of you who have put leads through the Prosperity Team system, there really was no real way to put a tracking code on them and really find out what your leads were doing and how you were getting results from the marketing that you had out there. So a lot of times I knew I was shooting in the dark. I would buy ads. I would see that I would get some results. I would see that there were people that would ultimately sign up, but I never was really totally with certainty able to look back and say, okay, this person that signed up came from this ad, and that's really not the way to run the business. And one of the things that Vic has really taught through the training is a way to set up a system where you can really track what you're doing and really know where your conversions are coming from. And that's something that really is important to creating results, because the more you know about what you're doing, the more you can focus on ramping up the things that are working, and that you can really not really fine tune the things that aren't working. So there's a lot of good value and a lot of good training here. And just to take this one step further, there is going to be a call tonight after this webinar, and we're going to certainly watch the time and make sure that we are not running over. And I'll try not to ramble on here, but what is going to be is Dave Wood is apparently going to be doing a call. They're going to be opening up and talking about this. And the one thing that I like about this company is that there is transparency in everything that goes on. So there was some type of an issue that came up with Vic. They've brought it out, they've put it out, and really addressed it. They're trying to be totally transparent with this as best they possibly can. I'm sure that there's some legal things that they can and can't say, but in the overall, they're really trying to be totally straightforward with us, and that's really very refreshing, because it's very rare that you get into a company that really has the intention of taking what they know and sharing it and trying to really be forthcoming with what's going on. So a lot of what's going on here, I'm certainly not the expert, and I don't know much more than anybody else here, other than the things that I've read and the things that I've listened to. But it seems as though they're going to figure this out. Now, from what I understand, Vic's account has been in on hold at this point. They're trying to really assess the situation, and Dave Wood, I'm sure, will have a lot to say about that tonight. So rather than trying to speculate or tell you something that I don't know, what I encourage you all to do is get on that call tonight. It'll be right after this webinar, and just see what it is that they're going to share with us and what they can tell us about what's going on. And one thing that I want to talk about is where we're all at. There's changes going on, and there's another change, of course, that just came at us, with what's going on with Vic. But what I find generally people have a tendency of doing is, when things are in flux or things are changing, they tend to just sit back and do nothing. And by doing nothing, what you're ultimately doing is stopping and starting your business, and you're putting yourself in a place where you're not going to get consistency. And that's really what I find is the secret to business. When I'm really doing something consistently on an ongoing basis and have a routine to what I'm doing and do it with a real intention, that's where my results come from, and that's when I have the very best of results from my business. And what I really want to encourage all of you to do is to just take a step back here, and really think about, are you getting the results that you want? Are you happy with what's going on right now in your business? Is there something that you could be doing better? And if and by the way, if I just stop at that question, when I just ask you that question, what comes into your mind? What's the first thing that pops out at you when I say, is there something you could be doing better? And I know that that each and every one of you have an answer to that when I'm putting that out there, because there is something that we all need to be doing better, me included. I'm certainly not exempt from this. And when I actually had a conversation earlier in the week, and when I really stopped and took the time to think about what I need to be doing better, it really got me back focused on what I should be doing. And the interesting thing is, I've had some signups now just since that conversation, and I didn't necessarily even, do anything, to greatly change what I was doing, but it's that tiny little correction, that thing that we talk about, when an airplane takes off and it's traveling across the country, it's off course 99% of the time, but those slight little corrections along the way get it to its target. So, I want you to just sit back and ask yourself that question, and and really focus in on what it was that popped up for you, and take the time to really take action on that thing that you need to do. So once you've done that, then you really know where you need to start. So, to be successful, and what I find that I'm most successful at is when I have a routine and I'm not doing exactly what I said, that stopping and starting. And I got to tell you, April was kind of an interesting month for me. It started out really well. We had the internet traffic formula launch, and immediately it certainly turned into some pretty quick sales. But what I did though is I allowed myself to kind of sit back a little bit, and I know that that's not the way to get the success that I really want, because that's not how this business is done. And by sitting back a little bit, I was thinking about the iPass-2, I was thinking about new marketing techniques and things that really kept me from going forward and getting the results that I want. Now I'm kind of past that. I realize that certainly iPass-2 is going to be coming out soon, and for those of you that are on the line here, I know that you should have signed up by now into the iPass-2. It's going to be coming any day now. And of course, the interesting thing is, in the middle of all this, Chris Jones turns over $1 million in earnings, and he's been real distracted. I mean, think about that. He's been putting together the iPass-2 system, been very focused on that. So he's got an entirely different business going. But in the meantime, the engine keeps going. The whole business keeps going forward, and it's a great example of really what can be done in this business and how well it really works. So, like I said, let's all think about getting into a routine and being consistent, not starting and stopping and taking you away from your results. And when you're doing the things that are income producing activities, are you really focused on what you're doing? And this is another one that I've got to say I'm guilty of. If you put yourself out there in maybe 45 minutes to 50 to an hour of real focused marketing, you're going to get results. But if you say that you're working, but what you're really doing is you're checking your emails, you're looking at Facebook, you're clicking in the back office to see if you've got somebody that signed up, or flipping around through different things on the internet, that's not really focused marketing. What you're really doing is you're spending time and you're sitting there and you're putting in the effort, but you're not necessarily going to get the result, because what you're doing is you're distracted from what's going to give you the ability to go out and get the results. So think about that. When you're doing your marketing, are you truly focused on what it is that you're doing? Really set that time aside, and then when you're doing it, take a break. That's another good thing. A lot of times we tend to, I know for myself, once again, you grind it out. You spend hours and hours, and you haven't gotten up. You haven't gone outside to get some fresh air. You haven't gone to do something to really reward yourself and to break that routine and get your concentration refocused. And what I would suggest is do that on a regular basis, because what it'll really do is make you much more efficient. You'll get quicker and better results, and that's really what we're here for. I mean, let's face it, you join this business to gain a lifestyle and to get results, and that's really what you can have here if you do it in a way where you're setting yourself up for success. So here's one of the things that you want to do when you're doing any kind of marketing. There's really a change going on, and I could say this change has happened really since I've been here in Empower, which is going on almost about 14, 15 months now at this point. And what really worked in the past was, basically you could buy some cold leads, you could send out some emails, and you could pretty much copy and paste whatever was out there. And for the most part, that was what would work, and that could work, and that still will work. But things are changing, and what the market is looking for now is for you to stand out, for you to give value, for you to really not be cookie cutter to the next person. And if you really think about that, it might take a little bit of an effort to do those things, but if you do them, the results will come to you. So what can you do? All right, first off, how can you give value? And a lot of you, I'm sure, are saying to yourself, well, what do I know that really I can share with somebody else? Well, by you knowing one thing more than somebody else that's out there looking at an opportunity or looking for a business, by you knowing just one thing, that makes you an expert in their eyes. So what you can do is you can talk about how the whole business is run, the fact that you know how to generate a lead, you know how to use a landing page, you know how to use email marketing, you know how to do broadcasts. There's so many things that that you may not give yourself credit for. And if you really sit back and focus on the skills and the things that you've learned and the things that we're sharing with you and the things that the prosperity team is sharing with you and all the other resources that you have value. And you just a lot of times you minimize it and you don't really realize what you truly have to offer. And like I said, go back to that statement. All you need is one thing more, to know one thing more than somebody else that's out there that's looking, and you're an expert in their eyes. And don't minimize that, because you don't have to be making millions of dollars to be in a position where you can actually help someone and leverage our system. So one of the other things you can do to give value, and this is a beautiful thing that the prosperity team has set up for us, is they've got those Wednesday night webinars. They have pre-done emails. They have everything that you need to be able to send out to your list to invite them and have them come in and watch a training that's going to teach something. And once again, we have a lot of tools and resources around us. All we need to do is just leverage those, and that puts you in a position, once again, where the people that you're connecting with, you want to stand out, you want to be an individual. So how do you get the best results? What do you do with your marketing to really put yourself in a place where you can have results? And the first thing you need to do is set an intention. Okay, and what does that mean? You have to believe in what you're doing, or just don't do it. I mean, if you sit down and you start shooting a video, writing an email, or whatever you're doing, and you just don't feel that you're in that place, take a break, walk away from it. Do something to revitalize yourself, and then come back and set your intention. And actually, Dave Wood did a very good video earlier this week, and he put it on the blog, where he talked about setting an intention. And he actually, there was another one that he talked about, when you go into your back office, you want to have symbols that will help you set the intention, knowing that you're going into a place that's going to bring you results. And by doing these subtle little things, it may sound like moonbeam stuff and it's way out there and woo-woo and out in the universe, but the reality is these things work. They really do have the ability to bring you results. So what you need to do is focus on what it is that you want to accomplish before you even write the email. So all right, so now you're setting the intention. That's the first step. Then the next thing you do is you start from the end, and you think about who is it that you're going to be connecting with. So once again, let's go back to the email that you're writing. Who are you addressing this to? And think about who's your ideal candidate? Who's the person that you really want to be working with? And when you have that person in mind, you can take and accelerate your results, because you don't want to necessarily relate to everybody. In my case, I'm probably not going to be relating to kids that are in college or young people that are just starting out in a business, or just out of school, or even in school, more likely than not, I'm going to run into and relate to people that are really more my contemporary, people that are entrepreneurs, people that are looking to do something to, in my case, I'm looking to have a nice secured retirement. I'm really, looking to do something where, I can retire a Jill from her job. I want to be able to travel. I want to, do things where, now that I've got my income under control, I want to do what I can to help any of you or anybody else that I bring into the business to, get them to the results. And that's really, what my intention is. And, when you have that clear and you know where you're going and you know what it is that your purpose is, then, it's a lot easier. So, think about, first off, what your purpose is, and second off, who it is that you're going to be connecting with. And when you're putting yourself in that position, that really helps you to be more successful in your marketing and everything else that you're doing, because you're focusing and you're doing it with focused intention. So, the other thing you can do as you start to get any kind of a result, use that. Once again, we talk about you're an expert in other people's eyes because most people have never generated a lead on the internet. Most people don't even know what a sales funnel or a landing page or email marketing or broadcast emails or all the things that we're learning and all the things that we're teaching you. Those are the things that you can certainly talk about, and you can talk about your results. So for an example, I generated 80 some odd leads yesterday and 60 something odd leads today. And I'm starting to ramp my marketing back up. Well, I can start talking about that. And, people that are out there looking will pay attention to that because that's something different. That's something that I can talk about that I've actually accomplished. And if you don't feel that you've accomplished enough, you certainly have the ability to leverage the leaders and talk about the other people that we have that we're connected with. Certainly, we have we're surrounded by people. For an example, we can talk about Chris Jones just becoming the 12th millionaire. Well, that's something that's significant. That's something that, is real. That's something that you can talk about and take and leverage and, really use that to get a result for yourself. Because, Chris Jones is your partner. He's your business partner. He's a teammate of yours. He's someone that you're working with. And, that's not a stretch of the truth because, the reality is, we're all going to be using we all already are using the iPass system. We're going to be using iPass 2. And, you want to leverage that. Another thing that you can do is when you're doing the marketing is, you want to brand yourself. And what do I mean by that? That's how you stand out. So, for an example, and if you don't know how to do this, maybe what we'll do is get into some kind of a training on this, but you want to put together some type of a bridge page to introduce whatever sales you're using. So let's say, for an example, you're using, the commission loophole sales page. Well, what you should be doing is you should set yourself up with what they call a bridge page, where you just have a very short, under 1 minute video where you basically come out, introduce yourself, so you're not a total stranger to them, so that they're more likely to open up your emails, and just say, I want to introduce you to my partner and mentor, Dave Wood. He's taught me so much about, using the internet, getting results, and doing things that really work. And, just push the button below here and listen to what Dave has to say. And of course, by clicking on the button, what's going to happen is you'll send them over to the commission loophole presentation. Or if you're going to do something with what the new iPass system is going to be, it'll probably be Chris Jones. And, you can say, hey, my business partner, Chris Jones, is going to, explain to you, the system that we're using, and I just want you to pay attention to, how he's going to explain this to you. Now what happens is you're going to put yourself in a position where you're going to be someone that they're going to relate to. You're not just an email. You're not just a name. You're now someone, that has been put in the loop. So, what happens so much, if you think about the system that we're using now, if you don't do this bridging, what happens is you send out an email to a lead. They click on your landing page, then they go to, we'll use the commission loophole, they'll go to Dave Wood's presentation. And what happens is, Dave Wood does the presentation. Well, who are you and what have you got to do with this? if you don't do something to bring yourself into the loop and do something to introduce yourself, and video is king when it comes to this, then you're really shortchanging yourself and you're really holding back your results. So you can do something, and it doesn't have to be in video. You could do something in a landing page that has your picture on it, a little tiny bit of your story. You just want to really get yourself into the loop of being part of the sales process. Then what's going to happen is you're going to stand out. And the other thing is, along the same lines is, I know that we've supplied you all with the canned email responses, but what I would really suggest you start doing is dialing back the canned responses, because actually, if you were on the training today with the prosperity team, and we'll get into that as well, they talked about the fact that if those emails aren't your voice, then what you're doing when you're doing a broadcast, that is your voice. So now you're going back and forth, and the people can certainly get confused, and once again they'll open up fewer and fewer of your emails. So what you want to do is start to have a presence here. You are your best asset. Your story is your best asset. What you're going through and how you can share that with people is your best resource, and you need to use that. I know that we've got the Turners on here, for example, and I know they just want to travel around the country and have an income coming in as they do it, and there's a lot of people that want to do that. Debbie and I, we've talked back and forth. We're both baby boomers, and we're kind of in that same place. We've been business owners. We've been people who have had success in the past, and we can share where we've come from and where we're going, and we're both thinking about our retirements and how we can do things to bring that together and really have a more secured situation. Well, there's a lot of people that are just like us, and once again, leveraging that story and personalizing more of what's going on rather than just using the canned emails is really going to be something that it's going to be an effort, but it's going to be worth it. So what I would suggest is your first email in the series is put yourself into there, introduce yourself. And if you're not comfortable doing video, that's perfectly fine. At least put a picture of yourself, put in something of your story, put in a little bit of what it is that you've discovered, what your vision is, what your purpose is, what it is that you're looking to accomplish. And the people that are going to relate to you will relate to you, and they'll jump out and they'll connect with you, and you're really going to have a much better chance of having conversions if you do that. So that's what I would suggest to do, is really take charge of your business. Put yourself in a place where we've given you the tools, we've given you the canned responses, but now let's take it to that next level and really personalize what you're doing, and maybe dial back on the follow-up emails that are the canned ones, and give them more of you, and really broadcast and find things that you can share and show them the value that you can bring, and that's really going to help you to be more successful in what you're doing. The other thing that I'm seeing, as we talked about, is the market is changing. What I can tell you is, mainly up until this point, what I've done is I've gone out and basically gotten cold leads. I'll be honest with you, that's been my main way of marketing. I've invested in buying cold leads, and it's still a great source, and it's not something that I'm going to quit. And for those of you, once again, who have the ITF, they talk about the traffic agency, and there's going to be a lead source, and I guess that's remains to be seen. But we have sources that we can share with you. We have special discounts for those of you who are positioned in a place where it's worth you going out and doing marketing. So we can supply you with sources of leads. That's not a problem. But what I really encourage you to do is learn to fish for yourself. Learn to find ways to market, and there's so many different ways of marketing. As Vic has told us, because no matter what happens with Vic, his training is still absolutely the top-notch training, and there's no reason to discount what he has shared with us, because it is something that will help us all be better at our business. But once again, learn to fish for yourself, and there's so many different ways to market. What I can tell you is, we've all talked about, in the past, they've encouraged us to do some paid marketing and do some free marketing. Well, the free marketing, certainly I'm not discouraging any of you from doing that, because if that's where your budget's at, you need to find ways to do that. But it's going to be a trade-off. You're either going to invest your time or you're going to invest your money. And for my purposes, I would rather invest money in my business and get quicker results, and then focus on conversions rather than doing a lot of time put into things like blogging or chatting with people on Facebook or things like that, because to me that's just a slower method. But it certainly can work, and it's certainly something that's where you're at. Use it. There's nothing wrong with it, but do it consistently. Don't put one little thing out there, or have one little chat with somebody and then just start slamming them about coming into your business. You want to realize that people want to be treated with respect. They want to be connected with. They don't want to be just sold to, because if you get too in your face with people when you're doing your free marketing, well, they're going to be turned off. So you have to realize that everything that you're doing is a process. So it goes back to what I talked about earlier. Set your intention. Think about who it is that you want to connect with, and do it in a way that you would want to be treated yourself. And if you're going to be doing Facebook chatting, you want to really have some kind of an engagement. You want to have some kind of conversation. You want to ask about them. That's really, this conversation can't be one way, because it won't get results. So once again, think about if you were on the receiving end of your marketing, how you would react to that. And that's something that's important to really keep in mind. Excuse me, I had to sneeze, and I don't have a sneeze button on this, so this is live. We're just doing it as it comes. Okay. So going back to the many ways to market, what I can tell you is you need to get comfortable with video. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm an expert or anybody else out there, but you know what? Just have some passion. Just believe in what you're doing. Set your intention before you do a video. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you'll get with it. The more it will become something that'll work more and more for you. But what I would suggest is for those of you who were on the Monday night call, Mike Hobbs threw out a challenge, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to do 30 videos in 7 days, but there's something to that, something to forcing yourself to commit to putting out something. And what will happen is I was reading a post by someone who had been putting out their videos, and he said, what happened is about halfway through the challenge, he had a subtle shift, and all of a sudden he just said, what, I'm not going to be this sales guy all the time. I can be myself, and I can start talking about things that I care about. And when that kind of forced me through this video challenge that Mike Hobbs had thrown out, to really kind of change the tone of what it was that I was saying. Well, now this guy has had a shift. He's had now, he'll be doing videos that will resonate more so, because now all of a sudden he's not like bye, 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 bye. He's realized that he can tone that back and have a very good connection and a very good video that'll actually get him better results. So, what I would encourage you all is to spend some time in front of a camera. And, you don't have to have a fancy setup. You don't have to be, anything professional. If you've got an iPhone, if you're lucky enough to have one of the newer iPhones, the 5S, is that what it is? Yeah, the 5S, that actually has a rear-facing HD camera. I mean, it's awesome, because, you can now shoot a video, either holding it or putting it on a monopod, and it's going to be really high quality. I mean, this is stuff that, if you go back just a couple of years ago, you would have had all kinds of fancy lighting. You would have had to, really set it up. You would have had to have, your camera on a tripod. You would have, you would have had to have two people doing it. Now it's just kind of be yourself. Get in front of the camera, talk about something that you care about, and just allow that to be, who you are, and use your transparency, and just use something that you care about, or something that you know about, or something that you'd like to share with people, or something that you've learned. That's, we minimize it, but, we come onto these calls, and they're filled with value. There's things that we're learning all the time. And all you have to do is just, take one or two little points from any kind of training call that you're on, and shoot a video about it. Well, now all of a sudden you've got some kind of training that you can share once again with your list, because now you're looking like the expert, even though you've not necessarily, what you may think is nothing, they have never been exposed to this stuff. So what you're going to be doing is just showing them something that you've learned, and it just puts you in a position of being an expert. So, I encourage you to learn how to do video. The other thing is, Facebook. Well, there's a great training inside the Prosperity team where Kevin Souza shares with you exactly how to use Facebook. And, if you haven't gone through that training, I really recommend it because, here it's a free training. It's a free marketing, and it's something that really will give you a way to get results. And basically all he's doing is he's copying other people's material. He's downloading into his computer. He's uploading it back up into his page, and he's taking videos, he's taking pictures, he's getting engagement, and he's getting leads and sign-ups, and he's growing his business. And I would definitely suggest that you do that. Another thing to look into is Facebook pay-per-click. Now, it's something that's going to cost you, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going through some training on that right now, or just about to start some. And as I learn that, I'll bring it back to the team and I'll share that. And if I can find some quick and easy ways that are going to give us an ability to go out and generate some leads, that would be something that I'm happy to share. So stay tuned on that. But certainly you can boost some of your posts. You can do some things that will get some results. And Facebook is really a place to pay attention to. The other thing you can do is, once again, if budget is a consideration, is there's free there's free classifieds that you can put ads on. And you can change your link. I'm sure you all know that the Prosperity link is out there, and that will do something to take one of your landing pages and make it so that you can put it into almost any kind of free classified. Craigslist, what have you, and use that and get some marketing in place. The other thing is, if you're shooting a video, you're going to get much better exposure if you directly download it into Facebook. And the other thing that I would suggest is, if you take your video file, when you put it into your computer, I would change the title on the file to be, whatever it is that you want. So instead of it just being, whatever file name that you're going to have when it comes off your camera, your phone, whatever, I would definitely take your videos, download them from your camera, from your phone, put them on your computer, retitle them, and you can think about keywords and things like that when you're retitling them, and then after you've retitled them, that's going to give you better ranking. That's going to give you better credibility. And if you put a title on a video, when it goes onto YouTube, well, when it comes out into wherever it is that you're posting it, if it goes into your emails, if it goes onto your blog, whatever, that little title will come out right at the top of your video. So keep in mind that you have some real estate there that you can use for your marketing, and that's something that you should definitely pay attention to. So take that video and you can double purpose it. You can put it right onto your Facebook page. You can put one of your sign-up links or something like that with it, and then you can put it on YouTube. So now you're getting it into two places. And then the third thing you can do with it, which absolutely will work once you've got the link off of YouTube, you can take that video and just write a little blurb about it. Nothing real fancy. Just a couple key points from it, and throw that on your blog. Now all of a sudden, from one little piece of video that you might have shot, where you talked about something or another that you either learned or something that you're doing, or whatever it is you want to share. Now you've put it on Facebook, you put it on YouTube, and you can throw it into your blog. And it's not all that difficult to do. It's just a matter of taking the time to go out and do it. And that's something that really can help you to create a result. So something that I suggest you doing. And by the way, any video that's posted directly on Facebook will get more playtime, and it loads faster. So I would definitely suggest you using that. And what I'd really like to talk to you guys about is using our Facebook group. It's something that we have. It's something that I'd like to see more engagement from everybody here, because it's something that as you bring people in, you want them to feel part of a community. You want them to feel supported. And anytime that you see somebody new coming in, I'd like you all to spend the time to really welcome other team members, because that's what we're doing here. We're all supporting each other. We're all working together. We're all doing what we can to create a community. And the quicker we can get people connected to our community, the quicker they're going to see what it is that we're doing here. So, I encourage you all to use that as a resource. If there's questions, absolutely put them out there on the Facebook group. We're all here to help you and support you, and, be here to give you the support and the answers, and, whatever it is that we can do to really help you with your business, because, anything that I can do, and I know I speak for, everybody on the team, anything I can do to help you with your business, I want to, give you the ability to do that, and, I'm here for you to help you with that. So, I really want to encourage you all to, use that Facebook link, Facebook page. You know what? Hang on one quick minute here. I just got. I might have it in the Facebook. Sorry about that. I'm trying to multitask and run the run the questions and answers as well as doing the webinar. But let me just hang on one second. I'm being a little bit challenged. And by the way, if there's any questions on anything that I've covered here, please send them to me, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, or any feedback, or anything that you would like us to cover, because really this is we're in this together. This is your team as well as everybody else's, and we are here to support you. So one of the things that I'd like you to do is really let us know how we can help you, what it is that you're finding is a challenge, what things you need from us that we can do to help you with your business. And the other thing that I do want to go over real quickly is the schedule for the week. And I think that this is something that a lot of us have not paid enough attention to, and I know that I've talked about this in the past. And I really encourage you. I mean, one thing that I do is I'm spending the time. I do go to the Think and Grow Rich call in the morning. They're covering a fascinating, the laws of success with Napoleon Hill, and I know we talked about this briefly last week. But there's some real good content there that's really doing something to help me focus or refocus on my business. And it's personal development type stuff, but it's really tools to give us resources. The other thing is that there's a new schedule that's coming out, and I know I sent out the calendar this week, and it probably is wrong, but it's a work in progress, and we're refocusing. But what we're going to see from the way I'm being told at this point, certainly I'm not the one that has the that has the calendar, but what they're saying is that on Monday and Wednesday there will be 12 noon Eastern webinars that are going to be put on by the Prosperity team, and that's going to be for people that are at the basic level. And then we're going to have on Tuesdays and Thursdays, from what I understand, it'll be people at the silver level, which is the basic, the Viral Blogging Academy, and also I think that's all that you need. And then on Friday, they're talking about it being Black Friday, and that's going to be the higher level training for the people that are all in and Black members. So what I encourage you to do is go through that schedule and use those resources. They're there for a reason, and it's something that's really going to help us. As they roll out IPAS 2. It's going to help us, take and incorporate, the systems that they're putting together. And, we all need to be using those tools, because it's going to be something that's going to help us with our business. And, that's the bottom line is, we want to take advantage of the resources that we have here, and they're here for the taking. So, I encourage you to go into the events calendar, register for those webinars, be on the Monday night call, do the things that are going to really give you that belief in what we're doing, and that's how we're going to get results. So, Brian, I see you made it back. Hopefully you're not huffing and puffing. I know your kids had a baseball game today, and thank you for joining us. So, come on right out, and anything you want to share with us tonight.
Sure. Well, thank you. Thank you for holding down the fort. I know that the last couple of weeks has been tight for me. Son plays Little League, and a lot of the reason that I decided to get into this industry was so I could get out of the restaurant business and be able to actually spend time with my kids and spend time with my wife, and be able to do these kind of things. Where if my kid has a baseball game or my daughter has a school play or if there's something going on in their lives that I want to spend time with them, I'm available to do it. Where Thursday night, I mean, there's no chance in the heck I wouldn't be at work right now if I still worked in the restaurant business. So that's my main reason why I decided that I was gonna get out of doing what I hated and started doing what I loved. Last weekend, spent the whole weekend at the Richmond racetrack for NASCAR. Camped right at the track. Just had an absolute blast. So it's especially now that summer's coming, the weather's breaking. It's just been my life couldn't be better. So and I got this industry to thank for it. I really do. If you put in the time and you put in the effort and you put in the work on the front end, so you can reap the rewards on the back end. I'm getting to the point now where I worked really, really, really hard for the first 6-8 months in this company, and I'm getting to the point now where I can actually reap some of those rewards and some of the benefits. So don't ever forget that you might not be having all the success you want right now, but just keep going. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't let it stop. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this is your business. There's a lot of talk, and I know at the top of the hour the company's going to be doing a conference call. Make sure you're on that. I'm sure they're going to be addressing some of the things that have been going on here in the last 36 hours or so. And I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, what do you think about the whole Vic situation? I can tell you, I think he's a great guy. I think he's a good businessman. I think he has a wealth of knowledge. But at the end of the day, it doesn't affect my business whatsoever. It doesn't affect what I'm doing, not one in the slightest bit, because this is my business. I run it how I want to run it, and if it doesn't matter who's in Empower and who isn't, who's giving me tools and who isn't. I'm gonna keep plugging along. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do, and you know what? That's how you reap the rewards on the other side of it. Any company goes through stuff. You know what I mean? Empower Network, when they first started, I don't know if I'm sure most of you all know, but the ones that don't, they had lost their payment processor. And everybody said, you know what? That's it. Empower Network's dead. Quit. Run for the hills. Go chase another shiny object. They're done. And the ones that stuck it out and the ones that are, said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing what I'm gonna do. This is my business. I'm gonna keep rolling. I mean, I have faith that they're gonna get this stuff fixed. You know what? Those are the people earning the $1 million rings right now as we speak. The last 7 people in the last 6 millionaires, I think, in the last about 2 months, 2.5 months, and those were the ones that said, hey, you know what? I don't care that they shut down the payment processor. I don't care that this happened. I don't care that happened. I'm going to work through it. I'm going to work I'm going to work my business, because at the end of the day, it's what my business and it's what I do that matters. And you know what? Now they're millionaires, and they've made $1 million with Empower Network because they got through a tough time. Dave Sharp having to walk away for his health. That's stuff that happens. Vic, with doing what Vic's doing, I mean, that's stuff that happens. But at the end of the day, this is your business, and you need to be the one to take responsibility and ownership for it. And it doesn't matter if I dropped off the face of the earth tomorrow, or if Scott dropped off the face of the earth tomorrow. You have the tools necessary to be successful. Believe that. You have all the tools necessary between what Empower Network gives you, We Believe Team gives you, Prosperity Team gives you. You have all the tools necessary to go out there and just knock the cover off the ball. Had to throw in a baseball analogy in there. Go Fishersville Red Sox. Boo. No. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? You have all the tools necessary to knock the cover off the ball if you just go out there and put in the work. It's not easy. It's not get rich quick. It's not free money with no effort. You can't run one ad and expect $1 million to come falling into your bank account. I was talking to, I think it was Ken today, and I said, you know what? They give an analogy in this business that, if you plug into the system, it's like having a printing press in your basement. You know what? You could print all the money you want, but guess what? You got to go out and buy a printer before you can print any money. This company and this business is no different. You have to be able to sit there and say, hey, I'm going to invest a little money into marketing. I'm going to invest some time. I'm going to do what's necessary to get the printer up and running so I can have a printing press. You could have a template, you can have everything you want, you could have the little dies or whatever they print dollar bills with. You could have one of those things, but without the printer, it's worthless. It's absolutely worthless. So if you want to print money, that's fine, but you got to go out and buy a printer. If you want to have a lemonade stand, that's fine. You got to go out and buy lemons. You know what I mean? If you want a business, and this is a business, you have to put in the time, energy, money, and do the things that are necessary to be a successful business owner. Because at the end of the day, this is your business. You do with it what you want to do. But if you really, 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 really want to succeed, then you go out there and you say, you know what? I don't care what's going on with Vic. I don't care what's going on with Dave Sharp. I don't care what's going on with anybody, because this is my business and I'm going to make it happen no matter what. And you know what? That's the attitude I have, and that's the attitude I will always have. And that's why it doesn't matter what company I'm with, I will be successful. And I'm going to be successful in Empower Network, and I am successful in Empower Network because of that exact reason, because it's my business and I take responsibility for it, and the buck stops with me. So that's my little rant. I know you've had the whole hour, Scott. I'll go ahead and pass it to you, and then I'll give some final thoughts here before the top of the hour.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right, Brian. I mean,
I usually am.
Certainly, certainly, there's always changes going on, and one of my favorite sayings, one of the things that really kind of keeps me focused, is the only thing that really is constant is change. And that's really the truth, because as things evolve, as I talked about earlier in the call, I think I'm seeing some subtle shifts in the way that marketing is going on. I'm seeing subtle shifts in the way that I have to run my business. And, I'm realizing that, I now have to do things, and we all have to do things to give value, rather than just being out there selling all the time. And that's really something that I'm struggling with, because, I come from a sales background. I came out of the car industry. I had, a dealership. I was always selling. If I wasn't, it was kind of like, if I didn't kill, I didn't eat. Well, it's something that I'm learning to do. And, as I was talking to you, I get a lot of value out of doing the call, because, as I'm doing the call, I'm actually learning something every time, that I'm explaining something. And that's, really something I encourage all of you to do, because, there's value in that. But, once again, the only thing that's constant is change. And as Brian just said, and I'm going to paraphrase it, one of my other favorite, sayings is, the only thing that you really can control in the middle of anything that's going on is you. And it's what choices you make and how you handle the things that are coming at you are really going to determine the results of, how you're going to come through on the other side as that change is happening. So, those are the two things that really have been, my core beliefs. And, a lot of times you have to stand back and remind yourself, because, that's part of our growing as a person, is having the ability to face those challenges and then control yourself. And, putting those two things together are really what creates your results, and they are what create, good and bad, and they create, really get you closer to your ultimate goal. And, that's really, the things that will bring us through this. And, I got to say, this thing with Vic is interesting. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise. It still doesn't take away from, the training that he shared with us. And, that's where I started this call. Well, actually, I started talking about Chris Jones, which really is a very cool thing. I love to see people get success, and I love to see them sharing it with us. So, that's what I got, and I want to thank you all for spending time here. And Brian, if you want to put a bow on it, we do have to watch our time, because the other call is going to start here in 5 minutes.
Sorry, I had to unmute my mic there for a second. Okay, cool. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have said that any better. Kudos to Chris Jones, crossing $1 million. That's number 11. So amazing things. Alex and 12. Yes, it is number 12. With, Alex and Anna Zuberoff next. So can't wait to give them a big high five. Folks, at the end of the day, just go out there and take the action. I mean, really take the action. And there's some things that are going to work well, and there's some things that ain't. There's some things that you're going to do well, and there's some things you're not. Don't get bogged down in focusing on the things you do bad. Focus on the things you do well. If I could give you, 3 steps to success right now, It's get fresh leads daily, broadcast to those leads in your list every day or at least 5 days a week, and be authentic and open. Be you. Because you know what? You may as well be the best you possible because everybody else is taken. So, just be the best you can be. So if I could give you 3 things to do starting tomorrow if you want this business to work, get fresh leads daily, broadcast to those to your list, and be you. That's it. When you're broadcasting, be you. What? I just actually am trying something right now, and I know it's going to work because I've been sending a lot of broadcasts. For a year now, I've been sending broadcasts. So I have a lot of broadcasts that that I've sent through my AWeber. So I went through and I picked out my top 25 or so, or 20. I think it was 26 broadcasts that I sent out. And guess what? I copied them over to my follow-up, and now that is now my official. That's going to be my official autoresponder series. So I took my best broadcasts, made them a follow-up message, and now everybody on my list is going to get those broadcasts that I know did well for my list. It's just the little things like that you can tweak for yourself to brand yourself and to get you out there, because at the end of the day, people don't buy a company. They don't buy a system. They buy a person. You don't have to have $1 million results to have people understand that you can help them. If they, at the end of the day, 3 questions is all people want to know. Can I do it? Or is this real? Can I do it? And will you help me? Is it real? Can I do it? Will you help me? Is it real? Can I do it? Will you help me? Those are the only 3 things that you need to get across to your prospects to make them join you. And again, they're going to join you. They're not going to join Empower. They're not going to join in Prosperity Team, because if they want to join Empower, they're going to join under Dave Wood. If they want to join Prosperity Team, they'll join under Chris Jones. You want to get them to join you and believe in you, and that you will give them what they need. Now, even if you're brand new, we have the tools necessary for you to be successful, for anybody to be successful. So you can say to somebody with a clean conscience, join me, and I will get you in front of the tools you need to be successful. And just remember that, because we have the tools necessary. You got to pull the hammer out of the toolbox and go pound the nail, and you can get what you want and get to where you want to get. And that's all I have. Drop the mic. Hold on. Drop the mic.
You know what, Brian? We're going to call the call there, but you know what? We could do some training on what you just did, and that could be something. So you know what? I just put the number up for the company call. Let's all hop on that, and we'll see you all next week. Let's make it a great week. And I think some very, very big and good things are coming. So let's all stay tuned and just watch your emails. And I will be sending out a schedule like I do every Monday, and we'll see what happens from there. And make it a great night. And
hey, you want to hear something cool? I think I just got my 100th member.
Did you? Congratulations. Cool.
I think so. I'm pretty sure I just got my 100th member. So.
All right. Well, I'm gonna call it from there. You guys, thank you for spending time with us. We look forward to hearing from you during the week, and let us know what we can do to help you make it a great night.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.